Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Please forgive my setting. I just produced a post for you a couple of hours ago, and between then and now, other thoughts on my mind that I think I would share with you. So I decided to change my setting from my kitchen to out here in the park. Looked like it's going to rain, so here I am. But my reasoning, ladies and gentlemen, is because of all the things that's going on and the conversations we've been having. And it seems as though everything is basically as it has been. We are saying certain things about change. We're indicating that we want change, and we are puffing up our chest, kind of demanding change. However, it appears as though the change power is still in the hands of those who are abusing the power. And for some strange reason, those who are victimized by the power have been beat down to the degree that we seem to have given up, or we don't recognize what we have before us. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I have watched and I've studied men of great renown, men like Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington. They take us back to our slavery days somewhat. We talk about John Hope Franklin and Du Bois. We talk about Langston Hughes and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We talk about people like Jesse Jackson and Dr. Clark, even Dick Gregory, men who have come and given us their all. Some have given us their lives about the struggle to deal with it, to end it. And today, the most recent day of our existence, it still exists, just as powerful as ever. They might not be putting a whip on your back, but you're getting a whipping just the same. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, I asked the question. Today, in spite of all this, we stand just as divided by color. We stand just as divided by gender. We stand divided by any number of things. We divide it, we call it racism, we call it bigotry, hatred, all of these things. Why do these things exist? Why do these things exist? And I thought about that, and I saw all of a sudden these things not being the cause, but just side effects, byproduct. So then, what is the cause? Ever since man has been on this earth, what is his number one concern been? I'm asking you, America. I'm asking you, the world. Ever since man has been on this earth, what has his number one concern been? Yes, you are right. It has been survival. Survival has always been. And each of us, every human on earth, concerns themselves about survival. Now, with enough resources on the earth to fulfill that need, that want, that desire, since all of that is there, and there's a process that could cause all of that to happen, to materialize, to exist, peace, prosperity, freedom, joy of life, and dreams fulfilled, nobody having to do with hunger, homelessness, joblessness, ignorance, sickness. Don't have to deal with those things. But they do exist. So why? In spite of everything, why? My number one conclusion this morning at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, is this. It's greed. 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 Greed means I got to have more. I don't care what it takes, I got to have more. And that means more than you. better than you, best than you. This is how greed employs itself. Greed. Adam and Eve in the garden got the world to themselves. All of a sudden, another voice speaks. You can have more. Greed. Then we come around with any and everything we try to put together, but it's all destroyed by some type of reasoning. Greed. So if you start talking about Adam and Eve, then you might want to start talking about Cain and Abel. And what was that about? That was about the same kind of thing, which is greed. Cain and Abel willing to go to that extent of killing themselves over greed? What about Jacob and Esau? Greed. Greed. Who started that? What they're talking about, the birthright? All of that stuff come up. Where did that come from? And it's here today. Greed. We got the people living on Peel Hill, they got theirs. And they want more. So in order to get more, they got to cause somebody to suffer. Those are the ones who they have taken from and put in the ghettos and living across the railroad track and on welfare and all of those other situations, while the ones who are calling themselves superior and above everything else are going to the moon. They're going to the space stations. They're going to Mars. They're coming up with a new military thing in space. Military, SpaceX. And what did that stuff cost so much money is absolutely pathetic. Not alone the money that they have to maintain the military as it is. And where does that money come from? Well, it's basically made, but based upon the system that we have devised that allows them to do the thing that they're doing, where does the money come from? It comes from all of the places where people are suffering. All of the places where people are suffering. And you today are talking about what racism, some police changes in their policing. Are you fools? Are you out of your minds? Are you going? Listen, I want to talk to the people from Amanda Elsie High School in Greenwood, Mississippi. I want to talk to the people in Greenwood, Mississippi, who went to Greenwood High. I want to talk to the people who went to Threadgill High. I want to talk to the people that went to LaFleur High. I want to talk to the people that went to Mississippi Valley State, Delta State University. I want to talk to the people that went to Jackson State University. I want to talk to the people that went to Alcorn State University. I want to talk to the people that went to Grambling University. I want to talk to the people that went to Texas Southern. I want to talk to the people that went to Southern University. I want to talk to the people that went to Morehouse, Boston. Where are you? What did all that education do? It prepared your mind to accept the system of the world that we live in today. Golly. What you would call a stupid fool who never had any education, who never entered any school, knows that this is wrong. And even in their mind, they know that there's a problem that needs to be fixed, and they kind of got an idea, they just don't know how. And all of this education done put us down in the ground and covering us up with dirt. But there was a young man down in Itabena, Mississippi, who wanted to be one of the best guys. He was willing to throw his life out away trying to prove that he was good. Gonna go and jump in a darn lake, proving that he could swim when there was nobody out there to save him. And did it. Only with the blessings of God. A young man who, having been cast out of a marriage, who was willing to go and join a hopeful war to get killed just to prove his affection for another person. A young man who decided that as important as the good life, as heavenly living is, right here on earth, not waiting to go there. It's more important that that can exist, and it will only exist when those who know how, who have a relationship with the how, do it. I know Jack knows. I know Jesse knows. I know Sam knows. I know Willie knows. I know Deborah knows. I know Geraldine knows. I know Pat knows. I know Helen knows. I know Simone knows. I know Vera knows. I know Martha knows. I know Mary knows. I know Candace knows. I know Taylor knows. I know Joshua knows. I know Bernard knows. I know Reese knows. I know all of us know. But we're scared. We're scared. Why? Because we're listening to the devil. We're listening to the idea of greed. Get ours. And when we go to church, they tell us to just wait. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can keep on talking about racism forever. And at the end of the day, there will be somebody saying there's no racism. And to them, there might not be. But I can tell you one thing. There is greed. And there is them that got. And there is them that don't. And you start talking about policing. You know what the police is for. Police is there to force people to accept the abuse. That's all it's there for. That's all it's been doing. Forcing people to accept the abuse. In every situation that a policeman finds himself in comes as an expression of abuse on one end or the other. Yes, that's why they're there. You're talking about changing some policing, and then you make sure that there's no need for policing. Make sure that people are happy with their lives. Make sure that people are satisfied with their lives. Make sure that people are involved and engaged in their own lives and got something to live for. And policemen don't even have to wear a uniform because your policeman sits beside you. Why? Because he treats you right, and they protect you from anybody else that would treat you wrong. Now, that might be a pipe dream for me, but I tell you what, I'm not alone, because there's a power that you can't see that made this earth that's dreaming the same dream. And until you can dream that dream, you're going to continuously go through hell. But my fight with you today is not about racism, even though it is a side effect. But I can probably deal nothing about that side effect no more than I can do with the consequences of high blood pressure until I stop engaging myself in that which causes high blood pressure. So if you're going to talk about racism, brother, sister, you got to stop doing with that which causes it. And what is that? Greed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.